Genoa City has been in a storm lately as rumors of a mysterious figure's imminent arrival have spread throughout the town. The name Aristotle Dumas is no stranger to anyone who has heard of the economic intrigues and dark plans that lurk behind the scenes of major deals. But for a long time, all people knew about Dumas was word of mouth, blurry photos, and even unverified information, because his real identity and face remained completely hidden like a veil of mystery that no one dared to uncover. His appearance in Genoa City is not only a veil of threat to ambitious businessmen, but also a reminder that anyone can become the next prey in the game of power. At the same time, rumors of the return of Cane Ashby, one of the characters who has been at the center of many tragedies, loves, betrayals and ambitions, have been swirling. Cane has been absent for long enough that people have almost forgotten his presence in the already turbulent world of Genoa City. But now, small clues, vague conversations and unusual events have suggested the possibility of a surprise return. This is getting hotter when it is announced that Flynn, who once made waves on the small screen with his role as Chad DiMera on Days of Our Lives, has left Salem and is ready to start a completely new journey in Genoa City. This transition is not simply the change of an actor between two television universes, but also the beginning of a new mystery, where the line between character and actor, between reality and fiction seems to be more blurred than ever. The audience began to ask, will Flynn transform into Aristotle Dumas, a character that has never been revealed, or will he bring a new look to Cane Ashby, creating an explosion when these two names suddenly intersect in the same identity? The show was extremely skillful in building and maintaining the secret about Aristotle Dumas. All information about Dumas was moderated to the right level to arouse the audience's curiosity, but absolutely no clear image of him was revealed. All stories about Dumas stopped at vague descriptions: a mysterious businessman, a man with great power and financial potential, but extremely secretive, rarely appearing in public, and never revealing his real face. This not only confused the characters in the show, but even the most loyal audience began to be drawn into the game of guessing his true identity and intentions. The mystery is heightened when many of the characters in the film begin to discuss the times they may have met Dumas without knowing it. Some say they have seen a strange man standing in the shadows at major events, always keeping his distance and only talking to a few powerful people. Others recall receiving anonymous messages, investment offers or warnings from an unknown source, all signed as Aristotle Dumas. It seems that Dumas is always present somewhere in the shadows of big deals in Genoa City, but never directly shows himself, making his power and influence all the more unpredictable and frightening. Interestingly, the script cleverly interweaves Flynn's appearance with Dumas's debut. Viewers began to realize that, to create a spectacular twist, the show could have chosen to have Flynn play a character with two identities. He was both Cane Ashby returning after a long absence, and Aristotle Dumas, the man behind a series of financial conspiracies. This idea made viewers wonder, could it be that Cane had a different life after leaving Genoa City, creating a new identity for himself, becoming a big businessman and choosing the perfect time to return, hiding under the name Aristotle Dumas? If this hypothesis becomes true, Cane's return would no longer be just a simple reunion, but would become the highlight of a series of dramatic events. Imagine the emotions of those who knew Cane, those who were close to him, loved him or opposed him, when they realized that the mysterious man they once feared, tried to investigate or even wanted to overthrow, turned out to be Cane Ashby, their friend, lover, and relative. The interweaving of old memories and new realities, of trust and betrayal, will create an unpredictable earthquake in the hearts of each character, at the same time pushing the film to an unprecedented climax. If Flynn does indeed play Cane Ashby, who is also Aristotle Dumas, the script will open up a series of unprecedentedly fascinating plots. The audience will witness Cane confronting his past while maintaining a new identity as Dumas. He will have to face painful choices, shocks not only for himself but also for those he once loved and the opponents who once wanted to take him down. The biggest challenge is not only to hide his identity, but also to maintain a balance between old values and new responsibilities. What will happen when people like Lily, Jill, Billy, Devon, Victoria, and Victor discover the truth? Some will feel betrayed, some will be skeptical of Cane's true motives, and others may want to exploit this information for their own purposes. As for Lily, if she still has feelings for Cane, she will have to go through a severe inner crisis, both painfully deceived and having to face the fact that the man she once loved has now become a force that the whole city must be wary of. This event could also be a turning point for the power struggles in Genoa City. When Dumas' true identity is revealed, business secrets, shady deals, corporate takeovers and ancient feuds will be exposed one by one. Dumas or Cane will become the center of every new alliance, every old and new confrontation. Some will choose to stand on his side, hoping to benefit from the power and wealth he brings, while others will be determined to overthrow him at all costs, ready to use any means to pull him down from his new throne of power. Cane himself will also have to face unprecedented dangers. Dumas's mystery and power can protect him from external enemies, but they cannot save him from the hidden dangers within, from those who once trusted him, and even from himself if he is not alert enough to control everything. A moment of weakness, a small mistake, or a thoughtless action can cause all the efforts, schemes, and reputation that he has worked so hard to build to disappear in an instant. At the same time, the media and public opinion of Genoa City will not be able to ignore the opportunity to hunt for every clue, expose every hidden corner of this story. Articles, TV shows, and interviews will continuously dissect, comment, and put forward countless hypotheses about the motives, purposes, and future of Cane/Dumas. This is both pressure and an opportunity for other characters to take advantage of, creating new turning points, changing the power situation in the city. Looking back at the whole development, it is easy to see that connecting the two identities of Cane Ashby and Aristotle Dumas is not only a shocking trick for the audience, but also a calculated strategic move by the producers of The Young and the Restless. It opens a new dramatic chapter, where all values, all beliefs, all connections can be broken, replaced, or redefined. Each character, each relationship will face a new crossroads, forced to choose which side to stand on, who to trust, and what they are willing to trade to protect their own interests and happiness. And above all, the audience will continue to live in the suspenseful, suffocating atmosphere of unrevealed secrets, of conspiracies that are gradually revealed and of surprises that are always waiting to explode. Genoa City never stops moving, and with the return of Cane Ashby, aka Aristotle Dumas, the whirlwind of power, love, betrayal, and revenge will once again push the boundaries of imagination, taking The Young and the Restless to new heights of television storytelling. Since the day Cane Ashby quietly left Genoa City in 2019, few people expected that his absence would leave such a deep void in the minds of those who had been close to him, especially Lily. Although 6 years have passed, all memories of Cane have never truly faded in her soul. For Lily, the end between them has always been a cut that has not healed, an unanswered question mark in the journey of growing up, a part of the past that always makes her restless every night. But Genoa City has never been a place that allows wounds to sleep. When new storms come, Lily cannot imagine that she will be swept back into the same old emotional whirlwind, just because of a name that is haunting the entire city, Aristotle Dumas. In recent times, every investigation path, every leaked information about Dumas has brought Lily closer to mysterious clues. Dumas was not an unfamiliar name to the city's business community, but he was a ghost in the transactions, a big question mark about the motives, purposes, and real power behind the giant acquisition projects. No one had ever met Dumas, no one dared to claim that they had ever shaken hands with him, all based on rumors, anonymous messages, and faint traces in the financial world. The more Lily immersed herself in the search for the truth, the more strange pieces of the puzzle came together into a haunting picture, from similarities in leadership style, handling of financial crises, to small details such as word habits, calm demeanor, ability to grasp the psychology of opponents. Some part of Lily gradually realized, or at least could not deny, the strange feeling every time the name Dumas appeared. She began to miss the days with Cane, the eyes that were once warm but also filled with deep sadness, the secrets that only the two of them knew, the unfinished words left in the past. Even though she told herself that everything was over, that Cane had truly disappeared from her life, Lily's heart still fluttered every time she faced the mystery of Aristotle Dumas. Meanwhile, in real life, the fact that Daniel Goddard, who played Cane during his glory years, was currently busy with the role of Professor Henry Hank Dalton on General Hospital increased the possibility of a new replacement. Rumors that Billy Flynn would be chosen to play Cane Ashby began to spread across forums, bringing fans a wave of controversy, excitement, suspense mixed with doubt. Some have argued that Flynn is considerably younger than Goddard, but given the history of the young and the restless, that has never been a real obstacle. Trevor St. John was 20 years younger than Stephen Nichols when he took over as Tucker McCall, and in the end, it was this change that created a different color, bringing many surprises to the loyal audience of this show. If Billy Flynn really did play Cane Ashby, what would he bring to Genoa City? It would not simply be a new look, it would be a more refined, more profound version of the beloved character, at the same time opening a new chapter of unprecedented drama. For Lily, all the emotions that had been dormant will be awakened one by one. Initially, she approached Dumas as an ambitious executive, determined to expose all the financial mysteries, protect the interests of the company and its partners. But the more she investigated, the more she touched the hidden corners of Dumas, the more Lily was drawn into a fierce psychological game. Unexpected situations occurred that made her suspicious of everyone who had ever appeared around her. From close colleagues to longtime business partners, from public meetings to secret conversations at night. And then, the most unexpected thing happened, an important business event took place, major shareholders gathered in Genoa City, all eyes were on a special guest who had never been revealed, Aristotle Dumas. Suspense, tension, suspicion rose by the minute. Lily was the first to detect familiar signs. A quiet way of moving, a faint smile that only appeared briefly when standing in a dark corner, a light glance that seemed to penetrate the heart. She couldn't take her eyes off the man, and it was only when he approached, his voice was deep but contained a hint of coldness, that Lily realized her heart was pounding, memories of the past surging uncontrollably. Dumas, or more precisely, Cane Ashby, has returned in a new identity. He has used his past, his business experiences, and the pain in his personal life to recreate himself under the guise of Aristotle Dumas. The mysterious disappearance of the past 6 years was not an escape, but a rebirth. Cane chose to disappear from Genoa City to heal his wounds, while nurturing the will to build a completely different career, far from the darkness that once haunted his life. And now, when everything is right, he returns. Not to ask for forgiveness, not to heal, but to confront the past, to face Lily, as well as all those who have hurt him or he has made them suffer. This return opens up an unstoppable chain reaction. Lily, from a strong and rational woman, begins to fall into a state of chaos between reason and emotion. She understands that standing her ground against a powerful rival like Dumas is a must for a leader, but at the same time, she cannot suppress the faint hope that Cane still exists somewhere inside this person. The tense meetings, the secret negotiations, the endless stories continue. Every moment, Lily feels two opposing emotions constantly tearing at her inside, fear and longing, wanting to forget and unable to leave. Besides Lily, a series of other characters are also caught up in the vortex of this event. Devon begins to doubt Dumas's motives, when his financial decisions seem to have a deep understanding of the history of Genoa City companies, of failed acquisitions, of the weaknesses of traditional rivals. Jill is surprised to realize that some of Dumas' strategies are almost perfect copies of what Cane used years ago. Billy, sensitive to power fluctuations, quickly noticed unusual signs in the way Dumas conducted business deals, and could not help but question the true identity of this man. The media and market analysts were not left out. Hot news articles were constantly updated about Dumas' true identity, hypotheses about his connection with the great families of Genoa City, about his mysterious past and the years of disappearance without a trace. The public began to talk, stocks fluctuated, and pressure weighed heavily on the shoulders of business leaders. In the midst of all these fluctuations, Lily faced the most important decision of her life: continue the fight for power, expose all the secrets about Aristotle Dumas, or listen to her heart, allow herself to believe in miracles once again, in the possibility that Cane could really return, albeit in a different form and identity. Every night, Lily quietly thinks about the past, about the mistakes, the hurts, the things that were never said. She wonders, if fate has given them the chance to meet again, is it worth giving up everything, taking a risk once, betting on love and truth? Meanwhile, Cane or Dumas is not at peace. Behind the calm, successful appearance is a soul filled with countless contradictions. He knows that his true identity will sooner or later be discovered, that the people who used to be familiar will not easily forgive the years he chose to silently disappear. But at the same time, Cane also understands that only by returning with a new identity, confronting the past, can he truly grow up, can redeem his mistakes, can protect the people he once loved from the dangers that always lurk in this city. The appearance of Billy Flynn. A younger actor, full of vitality and sensitivity, adds more color to this journey of return. The character Cane is now no longer just a symbol of repentance and regret, but also a symbol of the desire to start over, of the will to overcome all challenges to find the true self. Flynn not only brings freshness to the role, but also evokes in the audience the desire to witness a touching story of rebirth, where the mistakes of the past are no longer a sentence hanging over the head, but become the motivation for each person to reach for the future. Genoa City, stirred by Aristotle Dumas, will no longer be a peaceful place for anyone. New alliances will be formed, silent power battles will take place, and secrets buried for the past 6 years will be revealed one by one. In that world, Lily and Cane will not only face each other, but also face their own limits, pain and unspoken desires. Because after all, Cane's return, no matter under a new identity, no matter who takes on the role, is still a symbol of the strong vitality of love, of hope, of the will to overcome adversity to find oneself, to the people one once loved the most. And that is also the most lasting value that the young and the restless brings to the audience. No matter how many changes life has, no matter how many secrets the past has, as long as one still believes in the good, everyone can find their own path, even if they have to start over from the very place they thought had ended. In the context of Genoa City constantly changing with power intrigue, the appearance of Aristotle Dumas has become a hot topic, spreading from company meeting rooms to every corner of the city's most luxurious cafes. Everyone who is interested in finance, power, and the fate of the big families is caught up in the huge wave named Dumas. Everyone wants to know who he really is, what his past is hidden, and what his real goal is when coming to Genoa City. And making things more complicated, the name Tucker McCall appears too early in the allusions to Aristotle Dumas's true identity, making the surprise seem to be eroded by a somewhat easy lead that the show used to reserve for big twists. Tucker, a veteran businessman, who already has a position in the city's financial circles, was chosen to play Dumas, making many viewers feel regretful for a chance to cause a real big surprise. Giving too many clues about Tucker not only reduces the appeal of the story, but also leaves the feeling that everything is too on track, too predictable, and lacking the boldness that the young and the restless once prided itself on. Instead of a shocking reveal, Tucker's constant mention as the #1 suspect of Aristotle Dumas' identity quickly made loyal fans suspicious, thinking that this was just a diversion, drawing attention away from the real person hiding in the dark. And in that wave, Cane Ashby's name suddenly emerged as a reasonable and even more feasible choice for the role behind the powerful mask of Aristotle Dumas. If the show wanted to create a real shock, once again overturning all predictions and shocking viewers, then having Cane, who disappeared from Genoa City for 6 years, suddenly reappear as an anonymous billionaire was entirely possible. The very reasons you mention make this theory all the more compelling. Only someone who was intimately familiar with the city, knew its key players, and had deep personal motivations could have turned Aristotle Dumas into a real storm for Genoa City. So what if Aristotle Dumas was actually Cane Ashby? First, the show would have to face a series of questions that viewers would surely want to know the answers to. Where has Cane been for the past 6 years? How did he manage to build such a huge fortune in such a short period of time? What motivated Cane to abandon everything that belonged to him, his family, his reputation, his career, and return to the shadows with a completely new identity? And why, after so many years away, would Cane choose this moment to shake things up in Genoa City?